2021. But here we go. We finally have our next series here, our second series of the afternoon, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ancient Sister, and we have the Chinese Protoss player representing the Starving Camels SSLD. It is Firefly. And spawning in the top right-hand corner. In the top right-hand corner of Ancient Sister, we have its opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Alpha X. It is RagnaroK. Let's go, Papi. Let's go. And yeah, we haven't seen enough of RagnaroK recently. We kind of talk about this every week, but the other Korean Zerg players aren't as active in these weekly tournaments. You know, when it comes to RagnaroK, Dongraegu, Solar as well, they're just not as consistent as, say, Dark, for example. Dark is here every single week. He's grinding, Papi. He's just always on that grind, always in those weekly tournaments. When it comes to RagnaroK, Dongraegu, and Solar, they're a little bit more inconsistent, and that's even shown this week. This week, there is no DRG, there is no Solar, it's just Dark and RagnaroK. Oh boy. So we'll see how far he can go, and we'll see if we can believe our eyes. Because Firefly, he already 2-0'd nice, which was really impressive. Can he hold a candle against RagnaroK? Can he go up against the GSL finalist himself? Because RagnaroK is a terrifying player in his own right. I know that we always praise Dark for being the best Zerg player in Korea, and he is. But RagnaroK is maybe the most unpredictable Zerg player in Korea, and you have to respect his skill in a lot of the matchups as well. He took down Cyril in IM Katowice. He made it to the finals of the GSL, where sure he got he did fall against Maru, but I feel like RagnaroK can really excel and really thrive in this matchup. In ZvP, he has a lot of, ZvP and ZvZ to be honest, he has a lot of different builds, a lot of different compositions, a lot of different playstyles. He's tricky, Pap, he's tricky. And he can be solid as well, to be fair. We'll see how we go. We have a gate expand being set up by Firefly. Pretty standard opener, all things considered, by our Chinese Protoss. There is that Stargate follow-up as well. Well, Stargate opening, as to be expected. Meanwhile, RagnaroK, nothing too crazy out of him either. Hatch, gas pool, we have link speed on the way. We have our third on the way as well. The openers are looking normal, and it was very important for Firefly to confirm that as well. Like, he was able to probe scout, he's going with his follow-up adept as well, just making sure that everything is on the up and up, making sure that RagnaroK isn't cutting drones. Makes plenty of sense here against RagnaroK, plenty of sense. Meanwhile, with these two slow lings, RagnaroK, he's going to dip in, and wow, he's going to get some probe kills here. Very, very nice damage. Typically, these things, they just go straight to the main for a scout, but he gets more than just that. He gets one probe, he could even get a second. Oh. But this time Firefly is paying attention. But with this RagnaroK, he doesn't have to risk his Overlord. He sees everything. He sees the entire opener. He also confirms that it's going to be an Oracle first, not a Phoenix or a Void Ray. Oh my god. Firefly, please. His attention is across the map with his Adepts, unfortunately, and he will lose another probe. The Adepts do survive, but he didn't get any drone damage across the map. He only traded with Lings. So Firefly is forced to race back home, but it looks like RagnaroK is looking to chase him down and dive on top of these Adepts before they get in between of those buildings, and it looks like he will. The Lings are already here. We have that surround. The Adepts are going to fall, and we're going to force the Oracle back home. Solid Ling control here by RagnaroK. Shutting down those Adepts, forcing a warp in, and forcing this Oracle not just to stay at home, but also to activate its Pulsar Beam defensively as well. So this will slow down the aggression of Firefly. It will also weaken it, just because there's less energy to work with. Meanwhile, RagnaroK is ready. He's got 2 queens at his third. He's got 2 queens at his natural, and 1 queen and a spore at his main. So he is ready for this. He has the tools to defend, and he will. Only losing 2 drones. Oh! Losing 3 drones, okay, and a Ling. it's you know, it's better than nothing. It's alright, it's not bad, At least the Oracles do survive. They're going to be able to dive back in once again. We have the 3rd Oracle joining the fray as well. as RagnaroK takes his Roach Warren at a pretty reasonable time. Around a 4-minute-ish Roach Warren. We have a lair on the way. Like, RagnaroK isn't really doing anything too crazy, to be honest. He's just droning. He's responding with his lings whenever he can. But nothing too decisive here. It's going to be losing another Overlord in the middle of the map. We see Firefly going for his transition. We have a Twilight Council, we have Forge, +1, and Blink on the way again. Everything is looking very standard out of Firefly. Unfortunately, I will say it feels like his worker count is lacking a little bit here, and we typically expect a little bit more. I wonder if maybe he's been using his Chronos on something other than his Nexi. Maybe getting a little bit of supply blocked. That is something that he is working on. Lings once again dipping in, looking for some of these transferring workers, but they don't manage to get them. And yeah, behind this RagnaroK, he's just working his 4th. We've got charge on the way. We've got Roach speed on the way. +1 range. The Baneling Nest. Again, this is just a really standard setup here. These Lings, once again, finding some more damage. Like, RagnaroK has been very active with these Lings. He's been very opportunistic. Just diving in whenever he can. Picking off a couple of probes here and there. Picking off Adepts. Pylons. And now we're getting to the point where I feel like RagnaroK, it's his first kind of big decision here. Does he drone up more than 66? Do you see the Oracles dive in? They get 1 queen. Can they get a second? Oh, they will get the second queen, but for the price of an Oracle. Was it worth it? Could be, but these Oracles do play a pretty large role here, defending and supporting the Stalker army. Meanwhile, we are droning. RagnaroK, he zooms past 6-6 workers. He's going to be saturating this 4th base. He's being pretty passive, pretty defensive. A side of RagnaroK that we really don't get to see too often. Again, he's usually the aggressive player. He's usually dictating the pace of the game. But he's just been droning. And we do see Firefly finally moving out. We do see a couple of Oracles as well, punishing the 4th base for not having a Spore ready. Another Queen is going to be going down, but oh, once again for the price of an Oracle. Oh. Another Oracle almost going down as well. RagnaroK setting up a surround here to try and sandwich these Stalkers. Firefly bleeding out a little bit too much here, and he's going to get surrounded by these Lings. The Oracles are going to help support. They do clean up the Lings, but the Roaches have been able to pick off so many of these Stalkers. And Firefly didn't have a Prism with this either. Very cavalier of him to push forward like this without too much support. With no Prism, no additional gateways. We have a 4th on the way at least, but Firefly is forced to back off. Meanwhile, RagnaroK's army has just been getting better and better. It's almost as if like he's just like warming up. In game 1, he's just chilling, making Roaches, making drones, making Hydras. Gonna be working towards a hive if need be. Like, RagnaroK's macro has been pretty solid, and it hasn't been slowed down too much. He's been losing queens here and there and a couple of drones, but it hasn't been too impactful. And RagnaroK's about to max out on Roach Hydra. This is not a standard composition, by the way. I mean, typically, if we go Ling Bane Roach Ravager into Hydra, it's usually a stepping stone to go into Lurkers, but RagnaroK, he's just happy to just move in. Yeah, just stutter step forward. The wall of Zerg is upon us. We do have a massive stasis trap going off on a lot of these Roaches. Overcharge is popped. Oh, this is premature. Especially with this stasis trap, we're not going to be pushing in anytime soon. So Firefly may be a little bit nervous, a little bit trigger happy. Oh, and RagnaroK, the wave of Zerg just doesn't stop. Another stasis trap is going to be going off, but the Hydra is doing so much damage to these Stalkers. There is no overcharge available, not anymore. And RagnaroK is just slowly breaking through. It's not something you see too often, but yeah. He just turned up to 73, maxed out, pushed out, and the push is not stopping. We do see the 4th base is going to be going down. Another wave of Stalkers does get warped in. We do have a couple of Zealots to reinforce. We do have the Oracles diving in as well. But the Oracles get focused down. It looks like maybe we barely have enough Stalkers. But this is not a good trade for Firefly. Oh, and he doesn't even clean up the hydras. Oh, GG. Yeah, GG. Well played. RagnaroK takes game 1 in a pretty convincing fashion. Nothing too fancy, you know, just some light Ling harass every now and then, just droning up to 73, focusing on +1 range into +2 range, going for a Roach Hydra push. Nothing fancy. Quite solid, to be honest. Quite solid. Wow. GG. RagnaroK really asserting himself in game 1. I'm pretty speechless as to what just happened. Firefly was, yeah, maybe again overextending a little bit too much early on with his stalkers. He was attempting to harass to get us wrong with the oracles and with the adepts, but he never really was able to slow down RagnaroK too much, unfortunately. A really hard time pulling that off, and he also wasn't overly aggressive either. Again, he never made a prism. He never pushed out with +1 for a certain timing attack or anything. Was very middle of the road, and it felt like RagnaroK took advantage of that. GG. It's the Emperor Fuble. Beyond the ultimate grinder. Oh, is Beyond in the tournaments? Potentially. I saw Cure. Did I see? Oh, yeah, Beyond. Yeah, true. Beyond is there as well. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I overlooked him, Bobby. I overlooked him. I apologize. I apologize. Do we have any other updates? It looks like not quite. Cure did 2-0 Quanta, but I think we already announced that. Bad Boys is currently up against Dark, so Dark versus Cure hasn't started yet. We may be lucky enough to catch that series, actually. We may be lucky. Oh, as we're going to be loading into game number 2. Game number 2 going to be taking place here on Babylon. We'll see if our Protoss player here can fight back in some way. Personally, I hope so. I always love longer series, and here we go. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Babylon, we have the Chinese Protoss player representing the Starving Camels SSLD. It is Firefly. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Babylon, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Alpha X, currently up 1-0 in this series. It is RagnaroK. Boy. Yeah, looking pretty dominant in game 1. Nothing too fancy. We saw him slip up a little bit when it came to his defense against the Oracles. Did lose a couple of units here and there, whether they be Queens or whether they be a couple of drones as well. But for the most part, his macro was insanely solid. Something that he could get away with on a large map like Ancient Cistern. On a bit of a smaller map like Babylon, maybe we can see Firefly punish him a little bit more. I would love to see him be a little bit more aggressive as a player, like going up against RagnaroK. I understand that RagnaroK has a reputation, so maybe Firefly was adverse to that. He was very timid and tentative about being aggressive, just because he probably assumed that RagnaroK was going to be the one pushing into him. And he did, but just a little bit later. I'm sure Firefly was assuming that RagnaroK would do something crazy and go for like a 6/6 drone roach all in, or something like that. Maybe a Queen Walk, a Nidus. Things that RagnaroK is kind of known for in this matchup. So yeah, it was great to see RagnaroK just play with his image a little bit. Oh, that was a rough loss there from Firefly. He loses his first probe to these drones. That's not what we want to be seeing. As Firefly is now going to be the aggressor. Not just that, he's going to be cheating. Oh, let's go, Poppy. Let's go. So we're going to be waiting for the Cybercore to finish up. This looks like a proxy Stargate. The Stargate would be nicely positioned to send the first Oracle into the main base. So we'll see if that's what we have in mind here. There we go. The Stargate is thrown down. And interestingly enough, RagnaroK made a wave of Lings. Very interesting. So If he wanted to, he could have cut these Lings because he killed the probe, which means he could have gone for a faster third base, but no, he makes them anyway, and I wonder if he's going to be scouting for proxies here, if he's just zooming across the map.
You have a new queen. Show me those skills.
That was RagnaroK's announcer. He's got Diva, Papi. Let's go, let's go. So the Lings are going to be rolling on in. There is one Adept to defend. We're about to have two Adepts as well, staying here back at home. These Lings are waiting for the Adepts to shade on through and try to slip into the main. Ooh, and they will. Wow, the timing here from RagnaroK is so good, but we do have that Oracle on the way as well. Firefly can deal some counter damage as Lings. They get in, and they go for the pylon. Oh, it's going to be so close. The Adept does come out. The probes are pulled as well. It looks like the pylon will be saved. This could have been so much worse. This could have been worse. The Lings to get into the main. This is an important scout. They're going to confirm. Hold up. Where's your second pylon? Where's your pylon and where is your tech? Because there's nothing. He checks. He's looking. He's looking for the Stargate is and it's missing. He knows. Now he knows 100% that there's a proxy on the map. He should be getting ready for this. We already have two queens in the main base. We have one queen at the third. The Lings are looking around. They're scouting the bottom half of the map. But the Oracle gets in. And there is no spore in the main. Oh, despite that, the queens were ready for this. Only 3 drones go down. And the proxy has been found. The Oracle, is it going to come out? I don't think it will. Oh, it's going to be close. Oh, the Oracle will not finish. Just barely. The first Oracle is going to run out of energy. These Lings that clean up the Adepts, and this pylon, is it going to finish? I mean, RagnaroK is droning. I think he's fine with this. Not like this, Papi, not like this. Did you see the second Oracle coming up? It's been scouted, it's been delayed. RagnaroK, he's ready with 2 queens in each base, and some spores as well. This proxy hasn't really worked out here. It hasn't really paid off for Firefly. Oh, he's got a 3rd Oracle. He's making a 4th Oracle, by the way. Is he going Mass Oracle? 4th Oracles are not really something you see too often, not gonna lie. And because we're investing so much into that, we only have 2 gates back at home. We don't really have much of a ground army or production at all. RagnaroK can abuse this. We'll see. His Lings are just going to be headed towards that proxy location. We have a Baneling that's being thrown down behind this as well. RagnaroK is going to turn the tables. He is going to be Bane busting. There we go. The pylon does go down. Next will be that 3rd base. We do have 5 gateways on the way for Firefly, but they're still on the way. We still can't really make use of them. But RagnaroK, he's waiting for his Baneliness to finish up. He's waiting a little bit longer before he really commits. The queens are waddling across the map. We're going for glaives? Question mark? Uh-oh. And the Adepts are going to be good, don't get me wrong, against all these Lings, but I don't think we're going to have that many of them in time for this push. The Banelings are being morphed in. The Lings dive on in as well. No shield battery, no overcharge. The Oracles are out of position. And every single unit's going to be going down. I love it. The Banelings do go the long way around here. They're kind of being supported by these queens, but they can be focused out by the Oracles. No, the Oracles, they go for the Lings instead. Oh. The 3rd base is saved, but the queens have arrived. We have a Roach Warren behind this. RagnaroK, he's transitioning if he needs to. I don't know if he does. Oh. We get another surround. We get the surround. The queen stutter stepping forward. The Nexus will fall. And from here, RagnaroK, he can just drone. That's exactly what he's doing. He's just droning. He's content to saturate his 3rd, take a 4th base. Firefly stuck here on 2 bases. Supply blocked. And he's got glaives. Don't get me wrong, he's got glaives, but he's pretty all in at this point. He's pretty all in. He has to make something happen here. He could try and dive on top of these queens, and he will. The queens, they cannot transfuse. Pretty efficient trade here from Firefly, to be honest. Every single queen will go down. And we're not done. We are not done whatsoever. We're going to just keep on pushing. We're not getting a third base. We're getting a dark shrine behind this. As all in as we can be. I love it. We're leapfrogging with our pilots. Oh no! Oh, we commit to the shade into Banelings, and that may just be it. The best case scenario for RagnaroK. He cleans up every single adept. GG gets called. And RagnaroK will take the series 2-0. GG. Oh. Ay. Getting a little bit rough from the start there. Going for the proxy, having it be scouted, and for it not to do any damage either. If you remember, those proxied oracles, they got 2 to 3 drones each. And again, that's not more than what we saw in game 1 when the proxy was back at home. We saw RagnaroK take advantage of the proxy as well, take advantage of how isolated, how far away those oracles were from being defensive back at home. And yeah, we saw Firefly just wasn't able to hold on to that third base to establish it. No shield batteries at all. Anywhere, actually, now that I think about it. At the natural or at the third. GG. Oh. GG, well played. Congratulations as RagnaroK moves on, I believe, to the semifinals. Yeah, he moves on to the semifinals, where he is going to be waiting for his opponent for the winner of Dark versus Cure. I think that's where we're going to be staying. We're going to be sticking around here and waiting for Dark versus Cure to open up to get into game number 2 to jump in mid-series. Hopefully Dark and Cure are being casted by someone. Fingers crossed. Let me just double check here. What are some of the other streams going on right now?